Plumbers videos. My name's Alan Hart, and in today's video we've got a broken boiler and we've got Elliot from E-Fry Gas Services, and Elliot's gonna give us a tip on what sometimes works when you go out to a broken boiler. Also at the end of this video I'm going to show you how I did something wrong and what I did and how I got out of that problem. Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end of the video. But in this video, please remember, if you're going to work on a boiler, if you're going to take a case off a boiler, you must be gas safe registered or competent to do so. And please make sure that you do all your electrical checks. And these videos are designed for gas engineers that are, say for instance, you work and you install meters now and you want to get into breakdowns. This is just to try and share the knowledge amongst us all to help us all raise the standards. So if you've got any videos, please send them in. If you're a meter installer, send them videos in because they might be interesting to somebody else that does gas but doesn't do meters. So sharing is caring, as they say. Without further ado, I'm just going to bob you over to Elliot, and then I'll come back and I'll have a chat at the end as well. This video is for gas safe registered and trainee gas engineers under supervision. Please comply with the current regulations at the time.
Hello again to the Alan Hart fan club. So this is a 12HXI, so it's 2 years old, this boiler. It is Bank Holiday Monday, the 28th of December. I had a phone call yesterday, boiler's gone down. This customer here has unfortunately got leukemia, so shielding, and I didn't want to leave them without anything, even though I'm not going back to work till the 6th, hopefully. But the issue is here, the power is on there, nothing on the display. Power's on here, we have everything. Everything's on, power's on. Now, I haven't done anything to this boiler yet, but I'm going to hazard a guess that it's going to be a PCB issue, or there's a link cable that links the display PCB, so this PCB, small PCB on the front here, to the main board. They can also go. I've only ever replaced, in all the years I've been doing this, maybe 2 display boards. But other than that, they may have replaced shed loads, but me personally, only 2. So we'll get into it. So many of you already know this, but this is to maybe the people who haven't ever worked on glowworms before, the Valiant equivalent or the British gas equivalent, all those that are training. It's exactly the same. I've just taken the cover off. Still nothing on there. The power is still on, you can tell. I haven't done any of the checks at the minute, because I do so many of these, more often than not this works. So all we're going to do is heat up the board with my beautiful Vidalsa Soon, because I'm worth it, hairdryer. The way I do it is, everyone's different, but I turn it off and on every now and then, and every now and then it will just kick in. I don't know which component it is that needs this warm up, but see if that's done it. It hasn't. So it could be maybe another issue, hasn't done it. Obviously the first thing I do check is that the fast blow fuse hasn't gone on it. There we go. No, nothing there. So the other thing to also check, this red cable here is the link cable that goes from the main board, main circuit board, through to the display PCB. So make sure that's all good. Sometimes this gets really, really brittle, so you have to replace it. It looks like it may be dead. I'll do some other checks and we'll see what happens. Well, unfortunately, on this one, I wasn't able to show you how heating up the circuit board can get you through a tight spot over a Christmas period, because the circuit board is dead. I'll have to get a new one. I think the merchants are open tomorrow. I think they have stock. So I'll pick one up tomorrow and come and hopefully get this guy up and running, keep him warm. But I will do a little video on that, show you the board. Remember, on the boards, on the vast majority of modern boilers now, you have to analyse the boiler after you change the board, because the board does change fan speeds and things like this. And on the same job, just thought I'd show you. Never seen that done before. Interesting. I mean, it works. It's not leaking. But yeah, they must have been short a couple of nuts, or they weren't the ones with nuts and olives. But interesting way of doing it. Some beautiful, beautiful work. So we're back again doing the repair on this boiler. New circuit boards in and boiler's fired straight away. I'm not going to show you exactly how to do this because I don't want people who aren't qualified doing it. But one thing you do need to check is, when your new circuit board's in on this particular model, that you get the right code flash up on the screen when using a special thing that you need to use. And this one is a 12 HXI, so it should be 27. 12 HXI, my focus comes in there. It should be 27 plus or minus 1, so 26, using a special little doodah. It should be 27 plus or minus 1. If it is, then you know the board and all the internals, display board and everything else are set up for a 12 HXI. And they differ for different boilers. So just one really for you guys who haven't done one of these before, and also to homeowners, if you think you're going to be replacing boards by yourself, please don't. You've got to check that everything is calibrated and useful and correct for the boiler. You've got to run through the installation and servicing instructions, and we use specific kit to test the boiler. So obviously now I've changed the circuit board on this, I am going to test combustion on this boiler, even though I've been servicing it for a few years. I'm going to check combustion on this beauty, and that is due the end of 5 years rather than on 5 years apparently in these glowworms, but I think I did it way before that. I've put a note somewhere else. I think I only did it 2 or 3 years ago, but I'm going to check it all through and make sure we're all okay. So there we go. I'll try and show you another one where the hairdryer trick does work, but this occasion it didn't. Cheers.
Thank you very much for that, Elliot. I did tell you that I'd share with you an experience that I had had. So I was working on a Wiesmann 100, and it had, the hoses were blocked, and I went to take the hose out, and I thought I'd drained the boiler out enough, but I hadn't, and it still had some water in, and I ended up getting water everywhere, and it went all over the board, and it was so bad on the PCB that there was water in the front display. And I thought, oh no. And at the time, this is quite a few years ago, the parts were expensive for the Wiesmanns. They have come down a lot now in price. And I thought, this job's going to cost me money now. Anyway, I took the board out, fully took the board out, and I dried the board out with an hairdryer. And I'm not joking, there was water up in the display. It was underwater. And I dried it all out with an hairdryer, put it all back in, and it worked. It started doing all sorts of random fault codes to start with, but then it worked and it was fine. And I have had that fault a few times when the boilers are in bathrooms. Sometimes they get a bit damp and you can heat the board up. But as always do all your electrical checks. Make sure that you're safe. You know, check with the manufacturers, etc, etc. And then afterwards we'd also be checking with his analyzer as well to make sure that it's safe. And as I said, these videos are not designed for DIY. We have specialist equipment to test, and like as flue gas analyzer, we also need to have that tested every 12 months. So yeah, that's just my little story, but I hope you found this video of some use. If you are a gas engineer or if you're a plumber and you've got any tips, then if you could please send me videos in. I will add my WhatsApp details below in here. And as always, if you can send them landscape, if possible, it makes it better for the viewers to watch. Yeah, I hope you all had a great Christmas and Happy New Year. And as always, thank you to everybody who watches, helps, supports this channel. Thank you. Thanks very much.